Welcome everybody to the Mansfield Buzz. It's Thursday afternoon, 2 o'clock. We're on every Thursday, 2 o'clock, 3 p.m., talking to guests and talking to businesses in the Mansfield, Texas area. I want to welcome Jordan, our other host, and myself, Purdy Burke. And we have Kelly on, and we'll get to Kelly in a minute because we're going to talk about popcorn today and other stuff. But welcome to the Mansfield Buzz. First time with us. We are live right now on the YouTube channel, Mansfield Buzz. Let me go over here to my studio, give you guys the link. There's the link to our YouTube channel. What we'd like you to do is go over, if you're there right now, hit that subscribe button. There's a little notification bell. If you hit that, anytime we put up new content, you'll automatically be alerted. You come join us live or on demand, but go catch up with some of the great Mansfield business that we have already interviewed and put up. We got some shorts. I just created some QR codes for some of our past guests. Kelly, you get some too. But today we're going to talk about popcorn. Jordan, you want to say hi?
Hello. How's everybody doing?
And that's the difference between me and Jordan. Jordan's so laid back.
Yes, but I'm excited about this popcorn, right? Like,
well, you know,
it's not like popcorn.
And it is always fun to have very unique type of businesses on. And Kelly, first of all, we want to welcome you. And I want to put this up. I want to put this up right now because I want people to know who she is. We've been attached to her now quite a while in the Mansfield Network group. That's where I originally met her. Yvonne and I actually have had some of the popcorn, right? For some of the kids' events we've been to. So, and she gave us 10 questions that we're going to go through and review today on live here on YouTube. And so, because I'm hyper, Jordan likes to kind of take over. So we're going to let Jordan take over with the questions today. Kelly, thanks for being on. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're going to highlight you right now. So there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, so excited to get to dive deep into this with you. I mean, you definitely have a fun business, popcorn, huh?
Yeah.
That is both exciting and delicious. One of the first things I saw because this takes me back, right? Like I have Joven is about to be 7. I could call him now, 7-year-old.
Okay.
And one of the first things that, like little kids usually don't like to eat, but one of the first things he like just ravaged where you're like, whoa, what do you even have room? Was a bucket of popcorn at a movie tavern.
Okay.
Right around the pandemic when there was nothing to do and they finally opened theaters again. They're like, all right, let's go watch a movie. Like you haven't gotten this experience. We go to the movies. There's nobody there. It's just us. And we get this giant bucket of popcorn. We sit down and I think they were playing the Lorax. We just sat down to watch the movie and just gave him the popcorn. He just ate one and another and another. And I like the movie, so I stopped paying attention for a minute. I look over and he like eating like 2/3 of the bucket himself. He's like a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old. I'm like, where do you even have room, bro?
I love it. I can understand that.
Popcorn is incredible. So I love to hear it from you. Like, what inspired you to get into the popcorn business?
Well, a year before the pandemic happened, the neighborhood I lived in Lake Arlington, we did movie nights, we did monthly gatherings, and I had decided for our movie night one night that I was going to do different flavors of popcorn. And I was experimenting. I've always loved to cook, and I had a catering business years ago. And my neighbors loved it. And then I made it for friends, and they loved it. And I had worked for years in meetings and events, corporate meetings and events. Well, the pandemic happened, and of course, we all know what happened with that. That went away. So people had encouraged me to maybe work on my popcorn and make something of it. And I had time, as we all did. So I worked on the popcorn and started working with that. Well, in 2021, in the fall of 2021, I entered a contest with a Dallas PR agency called the It Crowd. And they had a campaign called The Heart Behind It. They were looking for a local DFW small business that they could help and give free, like 6 months free marketing, website design, social media marketing, all of that, rebranding. And I won. And that kind of propelled me to go further, and they helped me, and they were wonderful. So I went from Wish Pops to Pixie Pop. Their attorney checked out Wish Pops, and it was part of the Mars Corporation. Not that I'm any competition for them, but they said you don't want to even get into that. So, but I was very involved in the process. The Made on Earth Tastes Like Heaven, I came up with that, and they kept it. So, yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, though. That's my story.
That's awesome. So it, like, came out from actually doing it. I love that. Like, you're like, it's something that you're doing, you love it, and it's just like, it creates an echo that like just sort of reverberates, and people are telling you like, you should make this a business.
Right. Exactly.
But I don't mean that many people that actually like take action on it. That's the cool part about it. Because somebody could tell you like, you should do this. They're like, yeah, sure, right, popcorn. But
right.
Like, no, yes, popcorn.
Exactly. No, I love it. It's fun. I can create all these different flavors. I can be creative. I can throw things together. And to me, popcorn's kind of a blank slate. You can make it sweet, savory. You can color it. You can do all kinds of things with it. It's just kind of a fun thing that most people enjoy. And if they don't like the savory, they like the sweet. Some people like both, but you can kind of make it your own thing. So
let's dive deep into that flavors, right? Like and this is recent, but I've come across some like interesting flavors. Like back in the day, like you had like your regular popcorn, you had cheddar.
Right.
And I remember that big bucket that people would give you on Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Regular popcorn, cheddar popcorn, and then the caramel one.
You had your standards, yeah.
That's what I thought was like the range of popcorn flavor.
Right.
And it seems like recently I've tried more and more different ones. Recently I tried a pickled flavored popcorn.
I have a pickle pop. Yep. I do.
I was surprised how much I liked it. When you say like pickle popcorn, it's like I mean, I've been surprised by pickle, but popcorn.
Right.
Sure thing. It was delicious.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. Like I said, it's a blank slate. You can do so much. I have one that's chocolate orange, and it's drizzled in chocolate that hardens on there, but has orange oil in there. And a lot of people, say, oh, and then they taste it and they really like it. I have a Pop Rocks flavor that has Pop Rocks candy in it, and it actually does pop in your mouth. So you have a little bit of nostalgia. Kids love that one, but I think adults even love it even more. I have one called Kelly.
Weird, because you pop the popcorn and then it pops in your mouth.
And it pops in your mouth, yeah. So you get two pops.
Love that.
But yeah, I have all different kinds of flavors. Everything from chocolate. I have one called Sweetie Cheese, which is a kettle corn, so you get a little bit of the sweetness with the cheddar cheese. I have one called Cali, which is chili, avocado, lime infused. I have a barbecue one called Q. So I have a good amount of flavors, and I'm always coming up with new ones. And I have something I created called Puffles, and they're popcorn truffles. So they're literally chocolate truffles. I have them chocolate and caramel and dark chocolate, and they have popcorn. They're studded with popcorn that's been crushed. So you have the salty sweet, and they're fun, and you can dress them up and down. You can put edible glitter on them for weddings, or but they're a Pixie Pop original. So I don't know anybody else that has them that I know of, but they're fun. So
it sounds like you're like a popcorn flavored alchemist here. Like you are coming up with the most creative combinations, at least I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And if you go to her website, she's got them all listed there. But let me tell you a little story about her popcorn. Okay, she doesn't know, and that is, I was binge watching one of my, I think it was Prime or Netflix, I'm not sure where it was, and Yvonne had bought some popcorn for us and the kids, and I divulged the whole bag and got yelled at because I ate the whole bag.
Uh-oh. I got you in trouble. I didn't mean to do that.
No, it's okay. Ben's watching the show, but that's how the point is. That's how good it was. It's just one of those things where you get started and you can't stop. So cool stuff.
I appreciate that.
Cool stuff.
I think it was the salted caramel that you liked, right?
Yeah, it was awesome, and
that's a popular one.
Yeah, it just plain popcorn's great. Don't get me wrong, butter popcorn, some of the standards. But when you're watching something, you kind of get that caramel kind of taste.
Mm-hmm.
I always love caramel. It's just really fun to eat, and you can't stop. It literally, it's bet you just can't eat one. Remember that tagline? Okay, so really similar, really similar.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm glad you and Yvonne enjoy it. It means a lot to me.
Good stuff.
I don't want to skip on the second part of that question, because also, what kind of services do you offer?
Yeah,
right? It's
exactly.
amazing popcorn, but I'm sure now
Right.
everybody's wondering, like, how come I get my hands on it, and what all can I do with it? Because you
Sure.
mentioned meetings, which immediately gave me a visual. So I'd love to hear how how do you incorporate all of that?
Well, besides like delivery and mail order, I also have a popcorn machine. So if you want just the butter popcorn, which I have one called Bop Pop, which stands for butter only popcorn. So for the popcorn purists, I do have that, but I have a machine that I can bring on site and make fresh popcorn as well. I do weddings and celebrations, events. I do wine and popcorn tastings. I've done quite a few, especially with Ford in Mansfield. Carol Burney with Ford is great. We'll get together a few days before and we'll taste the popcorn with the wines, and that's a great way to spend an afternoon, just eating popcorn and drinking wine. But I'll do popcorn and wine tastings, popcorn and beer tastings, a little bit of everything. Celebrations where I can set up a tasting bar where people can either help themselves or I can be there, putting the popcorn in the cups, whatever. So there's so many things I can do, and if somebody has an idea of something, I'm open to hearing it. If they say, "Hey, I had this idea and I want to make my celebration a certain way," I'm happy to help, because I love being part of the celebrations. I think that's just a main part of why I love this so much, is to be part of people's celebrations and help make it, memorable for them. So.
That is amazing, man. Yes, so many ideas: tequila and popcorn tasting, whiskey and popcorn tastings.
Yeah. Yeah, popcorn goes with anything, so it's definitely good business.
Okay, so then I've already got a pretty good idea about this, but we're going to go ahead and ask it anyways. How do you differentiate your business to stand out others with the same product, right? Because we talked about like, I've definitely seen a sort of like resurgence of like popcorn creativity, I guess we can call it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And so there is a little bit of a competition out there, although talking to you already, it seems like your creative approach to it is one of them, but I'd love to get a whole picture from your perspective of how you differentiate and, stand among the competition.
Sure. Well, creativity is number one. The one thing that I do have in spades is creativity. So that helps quite a bit. And I'm always coming up with new flavors, new ideas. But I also think a lot of it is the way you market it. I think it's making connections with people in the community. And I think just being open and honest and letting people know, hey, I can do this and I'd like to help you and I'd like to be part of your celebration. It's amazing how the simple things of connecting with people just make such a difference, because I think, we all want to do business with people we like and trust. And it's just that human interaction. Like, let's help each other. And I think people will trust you a lot more and know that you're going to do a good job with their celebration, the event, whatever it is, if they, get to know you a little bit. So I think that's kind of how I stand out, or try to stand out anyway.
That's so important. That is a key for business, right? Like any business, doesn't matter what you are, but particularly if you're in one that is so like joyfully driven, like it's a great way to do so.
Absolutely, it is.
And I would think also that the fact that we're being personal, meeting people like we do at our network group in Mansfield, right, Kelly? That the shaking hands thing is a big deal. There's nothing like a physical meeting to introduce yourself and have conversations with people to kind of build that know, like, and trusting you mentioned earlier. So good.
Yes, absolutely. Networking has helped so much, and Herdy knows that, because he leads our Mansfield networking group, and I've learned a lot from him and the other people I've met at those networking groups, because we're all making connections and we all have the same goal. We're trying to, have a successful business. And so we kind of help each other, feed off each other, give each other ideas, and it helps a lot. It really does.
Yeah, because if you think about that, and that's the next question. We're already into it. I don't know what we're thinking, but it works. So we're way behind, right? But but the bottom line is, you think about all the businesses that you may have never gotten. I always think about this when I do business. I think about businesses I've gotten, and I think back and I think, man, if I had not been at that network group meeting that day, that time, or I had not gone to that network group meeting that day, that time, I would probably maybe never connected in a way that we ended up being a partner or a client.
Absolutely.
And so you think back in that and you go, wow, timing is amazing.
Yeah. Timing is everything. That's for sure.
It is. And you don't really see it at the time. But when you start thinking back how you met so-and-so business and so-and-so business, you think, man, I met them. And then it built to this. And then we started a relationship. And then all of a sudden we became client partnership. Right. So, yeah,
right.
I love networking. That is my gig. Everybody knows I'm in the Google business space, right, on YouTube. Right. But if they ask me what is the best way to get your business, go press the flesh, shake some hands, and meet people and do one-to-ones. That is still the absolute best way to meet people to do business with. So
I agree.
And I would even expand on that
Herdyisms.
But I would expand to that too, because I think many people think that you're going to go on network exclusively to try to get some leads or business. But the knowledge and learning that you get from just networking, and for example, for me, has been huge. Just meeting Herdy and getting to know him. He's worked as a consultant for many, many years, and I'm just recently leaving the advertising industry to go into a marketing consultancy route, which to me is very new. So for a while, it's just like this brand new road, right, that I'm not familiar with. And then comes along Herdy, who's been a consultant forever. Is like, hey, dude, I can tell you like advice and sort of like point you in the right direction, because I've been in that space for a very long time.
Right.
And he's been so helpful for me, just with the knowledge that to him is so like natural, right? To him is just such an easy thing to give. And for me, it's so valuable. Had I not gone to that networking meeting in Mansfield and just started chatting with Herdy, like, I wouldn't be in this podcast, right?
Right. I know. I've learned a lot from Herdy and people I've met at the Mansfield networking group and other networking groups. And Herdy he has a way with people too. And I'm sure he knows that. He just has a way of connecting with people.
This is your show.
So let's turn it back on
Kelly, this is your show, okay?
But
thank you.
So you mentioned you had a catering business before. Now you're running a popcorn business,
right?
You've obviously have this entrepreneurship drive behind you.
Yes.
And that is very, very powerful. So I'd love to get a little bit of insight into that, so the people that are watching you can also learn a little bit from you. Okay. And that's why I love this question right here. Like, how do you personally define success? Because I think that's something that people define a little bit differently. But I find the people that tend to be very successful have a particular way of looking at success. So I'd love to see how you define that.
To me, success is not about money. I mean, yeah, it's great to have money and be financially stable. I think most of us want that. But it's waking up with joy, waking up and knowing, you know what, I can't wait to do what I'm going to do today. I can't wait to focus on my business or career, whatever it is that makes you happy, and just not feel like it's a job, not feel like, oh no, it's Monday, I have to do this again, but to just wake up and have that feeling like, I love what I'm doing and I can't wait to do it. And it energizes you. It just gives you something, gives you a purpose. And I think we need a purpose. We need somewhere to go. We need a reason to wake up in the morning. And I know I definitely do. And I think to me, that's success. When you can wake up and you have a purpose and it brings you joy, and if you're making money at it, that's just the cherry on top. So to me, that's kind of my idea of success. That's how I define it.
Yeah, that is such a huge takeaway that I think sometimes gets missed, right? Like, we tend to define success always around money,
right?
And it's a side effect of success, but money can come and you could even not be successful, right?
Right.
Be making really good money. For example, in my past, like the advertising industry makes really good money, but you have to work for whoever hires you,
right?
and on their terms and turn around on their timelines, which might not make you necessarily happy.
Exactly. Yeah.
When I see sort of a role that you're taking, like one of the things that come up a few, like a thread that I'm looking at is creativity, right? You found a way to tie in business with culinary creativity.
Right.
And to me, that is a huge success, because talk about being excited about waking up and what am I going to come up with today? Like it's incredible.
That is something that just inspires me. Yeah. What can I come up with? I've always been that way. I've, just always tried to find the creativity angle in everything I've done, because it kind of inspires me. I don't know why. I've just always been that way. I'm not a math and science person. I'm definitely the creative person. So yeah, that's just how I'm built.
In Adam Grant's book, the Give and Take, the number one person that was the best at what they did was a giver, not a taker, not a matcher. It didn't expect something in return. It was the person that gives, and help themselves by doing that. And, I define, just so you know, my definition of success is lifting that lid, right? If you have a lid, and are you willing to go through it? Are you willing to jump through that lid? Lifting the lid is what we call it. And I also agree with you. Plans are made in sand. You can plan all day long, and you may eventually get to your goal, and that's fine, because plans change, and so goals don't. You can always reach it later. It's fine. So I love your definition of success.
Thank you.
If I wanted to be really wealthy in this business, I would have done Jordan's route. I would have taken my expertise to agency level but I like working with small businesses. I love giving them the help, because they don't get it from the big corporations, right?
That's true.
So there you
That's
go.
very true. Yeah.
Let's go really deep here. Can we just stay on for 4 hours? And
I know we can talk all day.
All day.
You guys are great. You're a lot of fun.
We're just trying to have a conversation.
So now this next question contains my favorite word of all times, right? Like, strategy. It is what I love the most, and I love that you have this here. Great marketing strategy, because it's a very important thing to go through, and sometimes people skip right over it into the doing. Like when people are very heavy into action, it's a very powerful thing. But if you don't have a strategy, sometimes you are not well focused.
Right.
Well, I'm very curious as to what is a great marketing strategy for Pixie Pop.
Actually, and I've said this before, two things: word of mouth and in their mouth. And word of mouth, obviously, because people buy it, they tell people about it, they like it, and in their mouth, meaning samples, letting them try it. Those two things are key to something like popcorn. Because you can talk about it all day, you can tell them flavors, it sounds good, but they have to taste it. And if people like it, they'll tell other people. And the only way they're either going to know is word of mouth or in their mouth or both. So that has been huge for me, those two things. So that's probably my main strategy, absolutely, doing that, because that has helped when I give samples out at a vendor event or something. I always get orders because they've tasted the product. So that's usually what works for me.
And I can imagine that would be the only way that would be a great strategy, from the standpoint of just putting a sample in front of somebody, because you're right. Once they taste it, then they're going to remember. Oh, you're the one that gave me that popcorn, right?
Right. Or the popcorn lady. So many people.
Or the popcorn lady, right?
Which is fine. I've been called worse. So I like that.
Haven't we all?
Haven't we all? Yeah.
Haven't we all?
Right.
I love that. And we talked about just a little bit ago about being givers, right? What a fun way to be a giver. It's like, hey, let me just give you something delicious.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Absolutely. People love things that make them happy. And if you can throw a nostalgia with it or create a feeling that just, makes them happy, makes them have good memories, it's amazing how that can work for you in a marketing strategy.
Now,
so that's part
Jordan,
of it too.
Now, Jordan, let me ask you, since we've been in just into 4 questions or 5 questions, are you just itching to taste some of this popcorn?
Oh my God, yes. You
See,
do.
you've got a client. I'm telling you.
I will make sure, Jordan, that you get some. I promise
Just
that.
take 10 bags and say, get your checkbook out, dude.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
right.
It's like 10 or 20 bags.
Yeah, I'm serious. He would love this. So there you
Good.
go.
Okay. Well, I will hook you up with some popcorn for sure.
There
I
you
love
go.
that you're a Pixie Pop because you get to be a little pixie, just sprinkling little popcorn joy everywhere.
Yeah, a little joy everywhere. That's great. I love that. So,
All right, so then on to the challenging part, right? Like, what are some of the significant challenges that small business face today? You know, like some of the things that you've run into and other small businesses can potentially run into as well.
well, I think with my business, what's hard is, we know everything's gone up cost wise. And so let's be honest, I'm kind of a luxury. I'm not a necessity. I'm a luxury item. I'm not luxury, but I'm not a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have people that just it's not in their budget nowadays, or they want the cheapest thing ever. They want great, but they want to not have to pay for it. So,
Yeah.
and I'm hearing that from other business owners too.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still coming out of the whole pandemic thing. I think that that's changed the landscape of businesses and how we interact with people and just in every way. So I think those have been challenges, just trying to make people realize that my time is valuable. I put everything into this product. I mean, I it's all me. I come up with all the flavors, the marketing, I ground all the spices, I do everything. So it's my time, and I put 100% into it. But I can't do it for free. So I think that is a little bit of the challenge that I have, and other businesses that are totally not like mine are dealing with that as well. So I think that's the main thing I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah, I have watched Yvonne, and she's in a similar business to yours on the cookie
Right.
side, right? You know that, Kelly. But I
Mm-hmm.
watched what she goes through in the baking process, the freezing process, the royal icing process, the printing
Right.
on the cookie process. And what people don't know is what they don't see. And that
Right.
is the labor intensity that goes into a product.
Right.
And that's why we charge the price we pay, right? Because we've got a
Sure.
little inflation, but we also have to account for our time and the actual process. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, good for
Yeah.
you.
People
Yeah,
don't see you could be up till 4 a.m, so
exactly.
making popcorn, bagging doing all that, and Yvonne with her cookies, the same thing. People, sometimes I think we make it look too easy, so people
Well,
don't.
yeah,
See,
the finished
know,
product looks so good, and it's just assumed that
right?
that's. But my point is, I get it. I get
Mhm.
what you go through
I know
uh,
you do. Yeah,
from experience. Okay,
sure. Mhm.
mixing, especially the spices and stuff. I mean, there's an art to that. There's an
There
art.
is. Yeah, there is. Absolutely. So yeah, it's a labor of love for sure.
And what about some resources for resources that work for you, and do you think would work for also other entrepreneurs? There's the as we've been talking about, right? Like there's the differences, right? You have like the giant corporations that have like
Right.
seemingly limited resources, and then you go
Yeah.
down to the individual level, which is what we should really be helping out. But
Right.
then the resources available to you suddenly shrink and become much more limited. So, what kind of advice and findings have you had in that area?
Well, like we were talking about earlier, the networking groups, those have helped me so much. I mean, just things you learn from other entrepreneurs, from just the good, the bad, how you can improve your product, your business, making connections with people. Those have probably been number one for me. I'm so grateful because you also are kind of with your people who understand what it's like to try to run and, be successful with a small business. So we can sit and talk to each other, we can make connections, but we can also learn from each other. I think that's been huge. Also, yesterday I went to a small business resource expo at Texas Live in Arlington, and it was free and things like that. were huge. I made a ton of connections yesterday with that, and went with a couple of friends that I've met at the networking group, and we all benefited from it. It was incredible. And whenever I would tell people about popcorn, that, oh, popcorn, it's amazing how people's eyes light up. And I found out that there's a lot of companies that want to do popcorn for their different events and giving out to, clients. So I'm hoping that, a lot of good things will come out of that. So I think just kind of scouring the community for different events and different information, networking groups. With the internet nowadays, you can find all kinds of information. It's not like the old days where you couldn't. Now it's so easy to connect with other people. So those are the things I would recommend to a fellow entrepreneur.
That's phenomenal. Yeah, and absolutely. Just connections, word of mouth,
Right.
networking. All that it's huge. And one thing that I talked to a lot of people when we talked about in my regard, I specialize in social media. Mm-hmm. So it is one of those things that in the digital space, and with working with large corporations, they have like really massive budgets, but they have to hit nationwide.
Sure.
For a small business, you just need your community. Is what you got to focus your investment in. So whether you're doing it in person or even if you're like trying to build your brand online and in social channels, like you don't need the million followers that these large brands have. Like you could go significantly smaller and still drive a significant amount of like connections by just leaning on your network. Like I immediately thought of a lot of realtors, particularly mine, that always gives me the popcorn bucket, right, with the 3.
Right.
And I'm just like, you know what? Like, it'd be so much cooler if you're working with a small business that it specializes in creative popcorn. And what an easy way for you to stand out, look unique, give a unique gift, and basically borrow all your cool factor, because all they have to do is get the popcorn for you. Suddenly they're as cool as you because they're coming up with your product and giving it.
Right. Exactly. That's true.
Good way to be able to just like connect with each other and help each other out.
Right.
Yeah, purposeful connections is kind of my buzzword for what I like to have in my inner circle, right? And that is people I know will become interested and help me help my business, and I will help them help their business. In other words, I will keep them in top of mind. And so you try to build these purposeful influencers, people that you can trust, like. Kelly, you're one of those. Obviously, Jordan's one of those. There's other people that are those. And these are the people that we can always go to and say, hey, I may need some help with this, or what do you think about this? Or do you think this is a good idea? Or should I drop this and kick it down the road? So, the thing about entrepreneurs is that they're always doing 20 things at once and they never finish a project. So that's my definition of an entrepreneur. So the idea is to become a master of one, right? Really good master of one, and get really good at it, and stay in your niche. So I love that. Yeah. And we don't have the resources, Kelly, like the big corporations.
No, we don't. We really don't. We have to search for them and, just seek out the community and other people to get them. You're right.
And dig away. And that's what makes it so incredible when I see a business like yours. And by the way, we haven't mentioned this. You did earlier. It's made on earth and it tastes like heaven. I'm not really sure where you came up with that, but man, that is a great tagline.
Thank you.
It's just primo.
Thank you.
So I wanted to compliment you on that. So
I appreciate that. I was glad that the It Crowd agency kept that. They said, "Oh no, we're keeping that. That's great." They said, "We wish we could take credit for it."
it's incredible. So I'll let Jordan round you out here in your final question. So
okay, sure.
Yes, because I'm very curious. What does a popcorn alchemist do on their spare time?
I like alchemist. I love that.
I do too.
Well, I love to cook. I love to entertain. That's probably not surprising. Those kind of things I've always enjoyed doing. But I like going to movies, museums, traveling. I write poetry. I've actually had some poetry published.
Wow.
So I do that. But spending time with friends and family, I'm very fortunate. I have wonderful friends and wonderful people in my life that I can spend a lot of time with. So just, just having a good time, just being able to unwind, go have some wine and enjoy time with friends. So those are the things that I enjoy doing.
I gotta ask you, when you go to the movies, do you order popcorn?
I do. Absolutely, I do. I order popcorn, and I'm funny for all the flavors that I like. I'm one of those people that just pretty much enjoys the butter, lots of butter, but butter only. Not even a lot of salt, but just
Butter. I just I love butter popcorn. So I like the flavors I make too, but if it's up to me, it's just, butter only popcorn. So yes, I always have that.
Hey, so we just started having a little bit of issue on the stream. Not really sure why, what happened there, but you're good. It's okay. Let's run through some best ways for people to get a hold of you. Let's start with your website, if you don't mind me posting it. We're gonna go check out PixiePopcorn.com. She's got all her flavors listed there. She's got information there for you to look at. You can also go to look her up on her email is pixiepopinfo@gmail.com. This will be part of the link. This will all show up on the broadcast copy we give you. So you'll be able to share this and people see this on there. And I would also encourage people to go to your Facebook page, Pixie Popcorn, www.facebook.com, Pixie Popcorn. Go check it out. Go join it. Go add yourself to it. And then when she posts, and she does post a lot of stuff, go in and see what she's doing. Now, something's really cool that you did mention that I noticed was you just made an announcement about a market that you're going to be involved in. Could you tell us a little bit about that really quickly?
Absolutely. I'm really excited about this. In fact, they had their soft opening today. In Arlington by UTA downtown it's 204 Northwest Street in Arlington is Mosaic Market. Two wonderful ladies that were in healthcare but wanted to do something different, open this market, and it's all locally made, handmade things. Pixie Pop is going to be part of that, so these ladies have this wonderful market with unique local artists, artisans, food, all kinds of things. So, but it's called the Mosaic Market, and their soft opening was today, and their grand opening will actually be July 4th. But it's another great place people can go to and just get some unique items. So I'm excited to be part of that because it's just a great thing, and I think it'll be a great fit for my company and for them as well. So.
That is awesome. So if let people watching this and they're in my shoes and they're like, oh my God, my mouth is watering. How can I get my hands on this popcorn? Sure. What is the next step they should take?
Actually, they can contact me, the website, my email, or also my number. I don't know if you want to put that up there. I can say it. Call me, text me, 214-315-0621. That's the quickest way to get a hold of me. But I always check my email and website. So either way.
Yeah, we prefer for them to check your Gmail, but since you said your number, it's on there, so that's fine. We'll leave it that way so you don't get trolled and hit by everybody in town, okay?
That's fine.
Yeah, and you also got her website. So there's three ways. You can go to the website, you can go right here to her Gmail account, or you can go and hit her up on the Facebook page. So either way, I promise you, I would just go to her website, check it out. I promise you, you'll find everything you like, and you will order some popcorn for sure.
Thank you.
Jordan, any final thoughts, my friend?
I do have one. It's not part of the questions. I hope you'll allow a ad-lib question for you, but I'm really curious.
Okay.
Do you have a story of how you came up with your favorite flavor?
Ooh.
Yes. The Pop Rocks is the one I have a story about because I had Pop Rocks as a kid. And I was just experimenting with Pop Rocks and popcorn. And actually, I had a friend at the time that said, "Oh, that's not going to work." And that's actually probably the most popular one. So, yeah, it just sounded like it would be fun, and it just sounded like, hey, the two should go together. So, and I just started experimenting with that because I loved Pop Rocks as a kid. I still do. So that's probably my one story about about my favorite flavor.
So creative too. That I can't wait. That's like I can't wait to give it to Joe and it's like, dude, try this.
Good,
I'm just
good.
gonna
I'm
watch
glad.
it, see what he does.
I know that'd be fun.
So Kelly, thank you.
Thank you.
We really enjoyed having you on the Mansfield Buzz.
I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it. Thank you.
This is kind of fun. Like I said, we just like to have conversation and keep it light and have some fun with it. And we wish you great success.
I appreciate it.
Looks like you picked up a new client right below me there,
That would be great.
which is fantastic. And guys, we just want to remind you that and by the way, we are committed now all the way through July and almost August, Jordan, on small businesses wanting to be a part of this. And we can't reiterate that we're not for big production. We've got some cool people in town that do that. That's fine. We love them. What we're here for is just to answer questions from small businesses and give them a little bit of voice and give them something to share out to the community. So if you're a small business and you want to join us, you can go to the YouTube channel, look us up, check us out. You can always find us by doing a search on good old, Hurdyburk's not hard to find on Google by any means. But come join us every Thursday from 2 to 3. We're live and we'll be on next week. And Kelly, thank you again.
Thank you, gentlemen. You were great. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
And y'all have a good day.